Performative male. I got called one not too long ago. So I am here not only to defend myself against these false accusations, but to discuss and go in depth about this particular phenomenon we are seeing this day and age. What is a performative male? Why does this exist? Is this a bad thing? What are the larger societal implications of this trend? And most importantly, how am I a performative male? Like, what did I even do? How did I get dragged into this? Now, this topic is way deeper than you may think. It goes farther back in time than you may realize, and it has bigger implications than it may seem. This is a very interesting and innately human topic. And when you break it all the way down, like most human things, it means nothing and it's based on nothing. But that's the fun in all of it, at least to me. All of this coming from an accused performative male himself. So let's get right into it. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Is my shirt navy blue or is it black? So the other day, my brother asked me what a performative male was, since I mentioned it in my last video. And I chuckled to myself because I knew in describing what a performative male was to him, I was probably going to use some descriptors that may or may not describe me. Which, if you watched my last video, and my response to that will be a whole video on why I am not that. I don't perform for nobody. Is pretty hilarious, but that doesn't mean I am one. Speaking of my last video, thank you so much for 1,000 views. I never thought I would get 1,000 views on a video of me just talking. But again, I'm not going to talk too much about that. I just wanted to take the time to say thank you so much for tuning in. But if you don't know what a performative male is, Charles Thrush, writing for Block Club Chicago, describes a performative male as a man with traditionally feminine hobbies with the sole intent of cultivating an inauthentic aesthetic that might appeal to progressive women. The performative male is doing his mating dance, puffing out his feathers in pursuit of female attention. The performative male is designed to look alluring and non-threatening and intelligent to and for women. I think this is a great definition that highlights the points and problems with the performative male. It is the inauthenticity of the image and ideas to attract a certain demographic that is the problem with this whole trend, or whatever you want to call it. You can even go out and say that that is a very manipulative way to be. I actually made a video about how you are probably manipulative. Even if you are a good person, you should check that out after this. It's one of my earlier videos, just saying. They are trying to manipulate the odds in their favor to achieve a certain goal. And in this case, the goal being a specific type of women they are trying to attract. So it's not odd that those deemed performative get a lot of bad press. I mean, who wants to be deceived? And who wants to actively engage with a manipulator? Which is issue number one I have with being called a performative male. Yeah, don't forget the original plot of this video. Ain't none of what I do is inauthentic. Bell Hooks All About Love is genuinely a great book, and love probably is our last hope for real. And I read that book in like 2019, before all this was even a thing. I thrift because buying pre-owned clothes is good for my wallet, it's good for the environment, and it's good for not putting extra money in evil corporations' pockets. Not because I have a hidden agenda. I like Hope Tyler. They make great music. I also like Zandman. Why am I being ostracized because I have good taste? Now, do I usually attract progressive women, and do I benefit from how I present? Sure, whatever. Okay, we're getting off topic. Enough about me. But we're actually going to go back a little bit. Let's relook at that definition we said earlier. To be a performative male in this context means to engage in traditionally feminine hobbies. Something about that part doesn't sit right with me. You know how I feel about traditions. I don't like dead people telling me how to live my life. Unless they're like cool, meaningful, and fruitful traditions. Like healthy family and cultural things. Societal traditions based on ignorance, get that shit out of here. Now, there's something I need to say, a truth, which is the reason why that phrase, traditionally feminine hobbies, rubs me the wrong way. You may have heard what I'm about to say before. This may be completely new to you. You may understand it immediately. You may think I'm crazy for saying what I just said. but it's the truth, and I just need you to hear me. Let me say it. Let me get my shit off. Let me explain. Okay? Okay. Gender is not real. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Before you unsubscribe, because you are subscribed, right? Well, go ahead and subscribe real quick so that if you want to unsubscribe, you can do that. But first, subscribe. Before you unsubscribe, let me land. Let me get my shit off. We're going to take this slow. Gender is a social construct. Wait. Let me explain. It's going to make sense. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not here to hurt you. Let's break that down even further. What even is a social construct? Let's start there. A social construct is just something that everyone agreed upon. That's all. Let's start with a very simple example of this. Boy equals blue. Why is that? Like, is there an actual scientific reason that we said baby boys equals blue? No, there isn't. We just all collectively agreed in this particular culture and society that baby boys equals blue. Simple as that. Baby boys could have been brown or red, but we all collectively agreed that baby boys will be given the color blue. And a social construct doesn't have to be a bad thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with baby boys being blue. I mean, I like blue. I fuck with blue. It's the best flavor for candy. Shout out to that blue dye. It's when we over associate with these social constructs that we start seeing problems. It's when we say blue is only for boys, and when you deviate from that, there are problems that the real problems arise. Because while gender might not be real, it still has real effects and implications in our world. Me saying gender is not real is not me dismissing the real effects that gender has on so many people worldwide today. Quick sidebar from editor Nick. I didn't talk about this in the video mainly because I didn't feel like it, and it's not what this video is about. But for those who don't know, sex and gender are not the same. Gender is one thing, sex is another thing. So when I say gender is made up, and I'm really just talking about the societal aspects of gender. I'm not getting into sex versus gender here. I'm just talking about gender. I'll give you another one. We all collectively agreed that green means go and red means stop. And there's no real scientific legitimate reason for that. We could have said gold means go and black means stop. And if right now you're thinking, well, actually red has been long associated with anger and danger and blood, so naturally we just evolved to make it mean stop. Okay, but we all still had to collectively agree upon that and say that that is true. And plus, black is also long associated with danger. I mean, humans are innately scared of the dark. We were not made to see in the dark. And that noise that you just heard in the environment that you cannot see in, you don't know what that is. That could be a jaguar hiding behind the bushes, ready to take you out. Not every culture thinks red means stop, and not every single person thought green meant go. Not every culture even agrees on colors. Like, some cultures only have 3 colors. You should look it up. It's actually really interesting. So gender is just one big boy is blue, girl is pink. Gender is just society's official, unofficial list of what boys can and can't do and what girls can and can't do. Of course, what I just gave you is a gross oversimplification of the topic, but it's super interesting, and if you want to deep dive into it, I suggest you do. But I do hope you understand that me saying gender is not real is not a threat. It is not some crazy tinfoil thing. It's legitimate. It's just science. Social science. And a lot of ancient cultures had different rules for what boys and girls could and could not do. You don't even have to look that far back to see examples of what I'm talking about. High heels were originally invented for men so they could be taller, but now they're for women. Some cultures don't even have a concept of boy and girl. Some cultures have more than 2 genders. Some cultures have no genders. And this makes sense, right? Different cultures, different times. Of course, not everyone's going to have the same exact rules as you in your super specific time and culture. Humans are creatures where an infinite number of possibilities could happen. And it really makes you think about social conditioning. Do I like the things I like because I like them, or because I was told that I like them? Which brings me to my second issue with being called a performative male. I hope you didn't forget the plot of the video again. Liking to read is feminine. Enjoying plants is feminine. Plants are cool as hell. Don't let anybody convince you they're not. They devour the sun for food. Being clean and taking care of myself is feminine. God forbid I put that shit on and smell good. God forbid I think nature is cool. God forbid I try to better myself lest I be called performative. Again, this ain't a performance. Do not put me in the same category as these fools out here drinking overpriced matcha that they don't even like for real, rereading the same 15 pages of a random feminist book that they found in a random library so they can take it and read it in a park and get their personality from TikTok just so they can try and attempt to attract a certain demographic of women. Don't disrespect me like that. And let's be clear, I am not turning up right now because things I like are being considered feminine. That is not an insult. But to say I'm being performative? Gender isn't real anyway, like we just talked about, so maybe I should be calling you performative. I don't know why I'm getting called performative male. I mean, you're probably performing too. You're performing whatever gender you are. So yeah, I guess we're both performative then. I guess we're just all performative. Gender isn't even real, so we're all just performing. Wait. Gender isn't real. If it's not real, that means it's fake. Yes? But there are obviously people out here, pretty much everyone you know, performing as a gender. They're acting as the gender that they were told they are and think they are based on their specific culture and society, which means they're performing, which means we're all performative males. I spoke about a topic like this in a previous video of mine. It was about talking about what our superpower is as humans. You know how when you watch a show and they talk about animals with superpowers, you know, like echolocation, can see in the dark, super smelling, things like that. What I was saying in that video was that our superpower is actually the fact that we can tell stories. We're very overpowered in the sense that we can tell a story, we can tell myths, and we can get hundreds and thousands, even millions of people to believe in said story, myth, legend, whatever. This is how tribes are formed, which leads to villages, which leads to countries and religions and so on. We have the power to make things up, but not necessarily lie, and convince others to believe the same. Be a man in America, for example, which is where I happen to reside, looks a certain way. But even under the umbrella of man in America, there are subgenres of man in America. What does it look like to be a man in the Deep South? Imagine a man from Mississippi telling you what it means to be a man. What would he say? Now do the same for a man living in New York. What about a man who lives in the States but has family in Peru? What about a man who lives in Nigeria? What would each of these individual people say it means to be a man? Or flip everything. What does it mean to be a woman? I mean to disclude any women that are watching this video. Naturally, I am speaking from a male's perspective, so I am inclined to say man. Every person will say something different because they come from a different culture that has different rules for the same thing. And yes, there will be a lot of overlap because societies are more connected than ever with the internet and globalization and all of that, but they will still have their individual differences. What it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman has changed over the hundreds of thousands of years that humans have been humans and will continue to do so. Why? Because we made it all up. It's all a farce, it's all a show, it's all a performance. Gender is one big performance that you wake up and act out every single day unconsciously. Your society has given you the lines and the dialogue, and every time you wake up, they say action, and you play your part. Originally, I was gonna have a third issue with being called a performative male, but with this revelation, I mean, what do I even say? Just felt like the things that I liked were being taken by others and used to manipulate, and because I shared some of those common things, I was seen as that, and being lumped in with them just felt like an attack on my character. But I guess in the end, I am no different from them. I am no different from anybody, really. We are all the same. Imagine that. We're all just actors in the play called society. A performer, a performative male, is what I would say if I was a performative male. You guys need to stay sharp. You guys must be new here if you think I was just gonna go like that. The fact that I'm aware of this performance means I'm not performing, guys. The fact that I'm aware of this performance means I'm not in the play performing. I'm out here watching everybody else perform in the play. This is really me. I'm not performing. Thank y'all for tuning into this video. This video genuinely was inspired by someone calling me performative male and then me asking my friend and them agreeing with them. I hope it is clear that this was all in fun and I genuinely do not care that much about being called a performative male. It is my hope that the satirical nature of this video came out clear. This was all just a ruse, a performance, if you will, to talk about gender and how gender is not really real. Yeah, thank you so much for I can't even believe I'm saying this, the 1,000 views on my last video. That's crazy. Again, this is something where I was like, yeah, I consume video essays, but I could never actually make a video essay, and I put it off for the longest until I finally did it, and now, yeah, we're here. So I really appreciate that. If you made this far, I really appreciate you. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm starving, I'm hungry, and I'm really cold. It's so cold in my house right now, so I'm gonna wrap this up right now. If you feel so inclined, I do invite you to like and subscribe, but either way, I do hope you stay, and I'll see you next time. Oh my god, fucking been standing for like 2 hours or something. God damn.